Hole 10 is a demanding 415-yard par 4. Despite its moderate length, this hole played as the fourth hardest hole during the 2018 US Open because of the precision required both off the tee and into the green. From the tee, players face a fairway framed by bunkers, fescue, and rolling contours that place a premium on positioning. Drives that drift out of position can leave awkward angles into a difficult green complex where holding the correct section of the putting surface becomes extremely challenging. The approach shot plays into a green that slopes significantly from back to front and naturally feeds balls back towards the front portions of the putting surface. The green also features a pronounced false front that can reject underhit approach shots lacking enough carry or spin control. Distance control is critical. Approaches that carry too far beyond the hole can quickly feed off the back of the green and down into tightly mown collection areas, leaving delicate recovery shots. Under firm US Open conditions, players are often forced to favor safer middle of the green targets rather than aggressively attacking difficult hole locations. Players who position themselves correctly below the hole can create manageable uphill birdie opportunities, while approaches from the wrong angle can quickly turn into a difficult battle just to save par. Hole 11 is a short but demanding 159-yard par 3. The small green and surrounding hazards mean that even slight mistakes can quickly lead to bogeys. From the tee, players hit towards a narrow elevated green measuring just 17 yards wide and heavily protected by 4 greenside bunkers that tightly frame the landing area. Under firm US Open conditions, the small size of the green makes club selection and trajectory control critical, especially when exposed winds begin to influence ball flight. The green slopes from back to front and features a pronounced false front that can reject shots lacking enough carry or spin control. Players who land their approach below the hole are often rewarded with manageable uphill birdie opportunities, while shots that finish above the hole can leave extremely fast, downhill putts that become difficult to control. Misses long and left are particularly dangerous, as balls can quickly feed down into tightly mown collection areas well below the level of the green, leaving delicate recovery shots with very little margin for error. Because of the small target and severe runoff areas, the safest play is often towards the middle portion of the green, rather than aggressively attacking hole locations. Hole 12 is a demanding 469-yard par 4. Playing is one of the more difficult holes during the 2018 US Open. This hole rewards players who combine distance control with disciplined target selection. From the tee, players face a fairway framed by bunkers, rolling terrain, and fescue that visually narrows the landing area. Finding the proper side of the fairway is critical because the angle into the green can dramatically influence how approach shots react once they land on the firm putting surface. The approach shot typically requires a mid-iron into a green that features multiple distinct levels and contours. Players who finish on the incorrect level face lengthy putts with significant elevation changes where simply securing a 2-putt par becomes difficult. The green also features a pronounced false front that can reject underhit approach shots, feeding balls back down the front portion of the approach area. Under firm US Open conditions, players must carefully balance aggression with smart positioning. Approaches that land on the correct level of the green can create realistic birdie opportunities, while shots that finish on the wrong level or feed off the false front can quickly turn into a difficult recovery situation. Hole 13 is a 374-yard par 4. Although relatively short by US Open standards, this hole still played over par during the 2018 championship. From the tee, players must carefully decide how aggressive to be. Longer hitters may choose to challenge tighter landing areas in search of a shorter approach, while others may favor a more conservative club selection to guarantee positioning in the fairway. The approach shot plays into a green protected by 2 greenside bunkers and surrounded by tightly mown runoff areas that place tremendous emphasis on precision and distance control. The green features subtle slopes along both the left and right sides that naturally feed properly structured approach shots back towards the middle portions of the putting surface. Players who understand and use the contours can allow the architecture to work in their favor rather than attacking directly at difficult hole locations. The green also features a pronounced false front that can reject underhit approaches, while shots that carry too far beyond the hole risk feeding into a difficult runoff area behind the green. Under firm US Open conditions, players are often forced to favor safer middle of the green targets and rely on the natural contours to move the ball towards the hole. Hole 14 is a brutal 519-yard par 4 that played as the hardest hole during the 2018 US Open. Combining length, wind exposure, and a demanding green complex, this hole places pressure on every shot from tee to green. From the tee, players face a narrow fairway framed by bunkers, rolling terrain, and fescue that severely punish drives that drift out of position. While longer hitters may be tempted to challenge aggressive lines for a shorter approach, positioning remains critical because approaches from the rough become extremely difficult to control under firm US Open conditions. The approach shot is one of the most demanding on the golf course, often requiring a long iron or lofted wood into a firm, elevated green. The front portion of the green is protected by two greenside bunkers that visually narrow the entrance and place immediate pressure on distance control. The green itself features subtle contours, with balls landing on the left side naturally feeding towards the middle and right portions of the putting surface. Approaches that carry too far beyond the hole can quickly feed into a difficult runoff area behind the green, leaving delicate recovery shots. Under firm and windy US Open conditions, players are often forced to favor conservative targets towards the center portions of the green and accept lengthy birdie putts rather than attacking difficult hole locations. Hole 15 is a 409-yard par 4. While not exceptionally long by US Open standards, firm conditions and difficult green contours make this a hole where small mistakes can quickly lead to dropped shots. From the tee, players must carefully position their drive to create the best possible angle into the elevated green. The fairway is framed by bunkers, rolling contours, and fescue that place constant pressure on both line and distance control. The approach shot plays into an elevated green that is heavily protected by bunkers and surrounded by tightly mown collection areas that punish misses both short and long. Under US Open conditions, controlling carry distance becomes critical because shots that fail to hold the proper section of the green can quickly roll away from the putting surface. The green features subtle internal contours that are designed to funnel properly struck shots towards the middle portions of the green. Balls that land on either the left or right sides of the putting surface will naturally feed back towards the center, rewarding players who use the contours intelligently rather than attacking directly at difficult hole locations. However, the back third of the green becomes far more difficult, with the surface sloping towards the back edge and increasing the risk of approaching shots feeding away from the hole and towards difficult recovery areas. Players who miss the green are often left with delicate pitches from below the level of the putting surface where spin and trajectory become extremely difficult to control. Hole 16 is a demanding 616-yard par 5 that provides one of the few remaining birdie opportunities on the back nine. From the tee, players face a wide but strategically shaped fairway framed by bunkers, rolling terrain, and fescue that influence both landing areas and angles for the second shot. While longer hitters may attempt to gain an advantage with an aggressive tee shot, the exposed nature of the property means wind and firm conditions can quickly punish drives that drift out of position. For most players, hole 16 becomes a true three-shot par 5 where positioning on each shot is more important than simply advancing the ball as far as possible. Layup placement is critical because the angle into the green heavily influences how approach shots react once they land. The approach shot plays into a green protected by four greenside bunkers that tightly frame the entrance into the putting surface. The green slopes generally from back to front, rewarding players who keep their approach shots below the hole and create difficult downhill putts for approaches that carry too far. The front right portion of the green becomes especially dangerous, as balls landing in this section can naturally feed towards the right greenside bunker and away from many hole locations. Under firm US Open conditions, players must carefully control both spin and trajectory into the green, particularly when attacking more aggressive pin positions. Misses into the surrounding bunkers or runoff areas can quickly turn a scoring opportunity into a difficult battle just to save par. Hole 17 is a demanding 175-yard par 3 that places tremendous emphasis on precision, trajectory control, and understanding the complex contours of the green. From the tee, players hit towards a green protected by three greenside bunkers and shaped by multiple internal slopes that can either help or punish approach shots depending on where the ball lands. Under firm US Open conditions, controlling spin and trajectory remains critical. Slightly misplayed shots can quickly move away from the intended target and leave difficult two-putts or delicate recovery shots from surrounding bunkers. A prominent ridge running through the middle portion of the green is a defining feature of the putting surface. Balls landing on the front side of the ridge will naturally feed back towards the front portions of the green, while shots landing beyond the ridge can release towards the back sections of the putting surface. The right end of the green features contours that feed balls back towards the center, allowing players to occasionally use the slopes as a natural backstop depending on the hole locations. These contours can also assist players recovering from the front bunkers, helping funnel well-placed bunker shots back towards the middle sections of the green. Hole 18 is a demanding 485-yard par 4 With firm conditions, exposed winds, and a difficult green complex, players must execute 2 precise shots to finish their round successfully. From the tee, players face a wide but visually intimidating fairway framed by bunkers, rolling contours, and fescue. Finding the proper side of the fairway is critical because the angle into the green heavily influences how approach shots react once they land. The approach shot is played into a green protected by 3 greenside bunkers and shaped by subtle but dangerous internal contours. The green slopes generally from back to front and features a pronounced false front that can reject underhit approach shots back down to the approach area. The back right edge of the green features contours that can naturally feed balls back towards the middle portion of the putting surface, rewarding players who use the slopes intelligently rather than attacking directly at difficult hole locations. However, the back left corner becomes extremely dangerous under firm US Open conditions. Shots that carry too far or miss left can quickly feed into a difficult runoff area, leaving a delicate recovery shot. Hole 18 is a fitting finish for Shinnecock Hills, a hole where patience, precision, and disciplined decision-making are rewarded right up to the final putt of the championship. And that wraps up the back 9 at Shinnecock Hills, one of the purest and most demanding US Open tests in golf. If you missed the front 9 flyover and strategy breakdown, click on the link on the screen now to watch holes 1 through 9 at Shinnecock Hills. And if you enjoy golf strategy content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Common Sense Golf for more PGA Championship flyovers and course strategy breakdowns. See you on the next tee.